Good morning, everybody. We are here. I'm trying to get Stevie accustomed to the noise. As you can see here, we got a new pup, beautiful Stevie. She's in the background, and I'm trying to get her used to, the daily routine. But we're here for the pre-market prep session. And every Monday, right, we've got the deluxe session where we go over the expectations for the week ahead, as well as our Monday specific news. So we got two things to cover, and I'm going to see if she lets us get through them. She should be, continuing to nap right now. It's a rough life for pups, so they're doing a whole lot of sleeping. So hopefully she stays asleep through all this. If she gets up and just starts whining like crazy, you dog parents know that I might have to end it and we go our separate ways and we'll just read the newsletters ourselves. But as long as, she permits and time permits, we're going to be here getting 1% better. Right. So yeah, she'll be there in the background in her playpen. She's had, an amazing first 3 days with us. 2 of them she spent running around playing with her brother nonstop. So it's going to be reality check, right? Getting into the swing of things this week. Mom, her mom goes to work and then I'm here, but she's got to be in the pen. So yeah, new journey starting all around. Couldn't be more excited. A little tired, but couldn't be more excited. So let's get into what we have going on today with the week ahead, our top news. Also, make sure to put those ones in the chat, right? We're here to get 1% better each and every day. We had an amazing week last week, right? We're continuing to compound these great weeks, but we understand the only thing that's guaranteed in markets is losses at some point, right? You can't continuously win nonstop. The biggest impediment to you consistently growing your account is yourself. It is not the market. It is not losing trades. It is you, right? And the way that you manage yourself. So that's the biggest thing, especially in times of winning, because everyone throws risk management out the window. Do not have 100% of your portfolio, 100% of your buying power floating around there in trades right now. Right. We have absolutely crushed it the past month and a half. There is no reason to, if you have taken, $1,000 to $5,000, $1,000 to $10,000, right? $300 to $3,000. There's no reason why you should be trading with that. I've been saying, last 2 weeks, pay yourself, get that out of here because the market does not go straight up, right? Even the retracement on certain looks that look good, they don't always hold, right? They can't because the market has higher highs and higher lows, right? That's the definition of an uptrend. But those lows, right, they don't have to hold that support. They can go down and crush through support. And then, right, once enough buyers accumulate to turn us around, then we turn around. But there is no reason the market has to come to heel because of our expectations of it. So that's why we control what we can control. We manage our risk, right? So make sure you're managing risk this week. You're not going crazy with the buying power, especially because we are existing in times that have never existed before. Never in my lifetime as a presidential candidate, right? That was the sitting president said, I'm not going to run for the presidency anymore, right? So again, it is it is not intelligent to think, oh, I can just put all my money on my buying power in the market and it should be fine, right? We're living through unprecedented times. So if something unprecedented happens, it's like, it's not surprising at all, right? It's like if somebody says, oh, well, I've swam with sharks and I've swam with gators before, and they just made a new hybrid shark gator. So I'm going to go scuba diving with it. And, I've never experienced this before, but like, how bad can it be? You'll find out, so make sure that you are focusing on controlling what you can control, not trying to bend the market to your heel, because it can become enticing, and a lot of people can become intoxicated and drunk off their own juice and be like, look, I'm running it up, I'm going crazy, I'm the best there ever was, right? You are a person trying to get 1% better daily, whether you just tripled your account or you just lost 25% of it, right? You're a person trying to get 1% better daily. You keeping that baseline will take you far, far and far and far. So throw those ones in the chat and let's dive into it here. So the spotlight this week, I'm going over the week ahead, right? And then I'll get into our Monday specific news. So the spotlight this week will be on the second quarter earnings season, which will move into top gear amid scores of high profile companies releasing quarterly figures. Google parent Alphabet and Elon Musk's Tesla will probably grab the most eyeballs, and their numbers will also represent a big test for the Magnificent Seven. Following a significant amount of rotation out of that heavyweight club since the last consumer inflation report. That is a rotation of buying power that we caught perfectly with the breakout on IWM, right? Some of the other companies on the docket include soft drink behemoth Coca-Cola, which broke out. I discussed them a few weeks back in terms of like different things that were squeezing and had nice looks, and Coca-Cola got that that big push up, and I believe set a new all-time high last week. Car manufacturers, General Motors and Ford, also reporting. The economic calendar for the week will be relatively light, with the focus on the latest personal income and outlays update for June. That report will contain reading on the Federal Reserve's favorite inflation gauge, the Core Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, also known as PCE. Other notable events include the 3-day Bitcoin 2024 conference, which will feature an appearance by Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, and the start of the Paris Olympics, with the opening ceremony of the iconic sporting event scheduled for Friday. So it's nice in that we don't have a lot of economic events on the calendar for this week, and I'm going to double check and check that out here. We've got nothing on Monday. Tuesday, flash U.S. services PMI. So that's one of those things where at 9:45, 15 minutes after open, right, you can get some kind of volatility that happens at 9:45 because that data comes out. But it's not, anything like, if CPI data came out or anything like that. Wednesday, nothing really. Thursday, we do have GDP data at 8:30 a.m. So, they say it's light, but this isn't, a non-existent economic calendar. We've got stuff on Thursday. We've got PCE on Friday. So GDP, Q2 numbers on Thursday, and then Friday we've got PCE data. So Thursday and Friday for sure are going to be the heavier days in terms of economic data, and then we've got earnings throughout the week, right? We've got the Magnificent Seven, some of them kicking off earnings with Alphabet and Tesla. The Bitcoin conference, so Trump will be speaking, and you probably worth checking out the miners. I mean, at this point, I haven't checked the polls, but the orange guy is probably favored to win, and he's been, heavily touting Bitcoin. It's a smart move given the fact that, with the cycles that Bitcoin is going through, this is a great time to back Bitcoin, right? Post-halving, the way that it times out is that, typically you take a dip, and then after that, you really start to pick up steam after, kind of a weekly/monthly pattern of accumulation. And that's exactly what's going on with Bitcoin, right? So it was a smart stance to take because he backs Bitcoin, right? And then if he wins and Bitcoin, continues to go crazy, he looks like a savant, right? But really all you need to do is have someone around you that knows how to read charts and is knowledgeable of cycles, and you can take advantage of that, right? But even small pieces of information like that are ones that can really make you better off when you're trying to do something like vie for the leadership of the free world, right? But yeah, looking at like miners this week with that conference coming up might be significant. Right, Mara paid us out the wazoo last week. Nice, great swing. We found resistance up at 26.88, which I called out last week as well, since we had kind of closed a few weekly candles around there. And we'll see. Let me plug in my charger. If the computer, if the stream ends, just know that the computer might have died because I did not realize I didn't have my charger plugged in. Just give me 1 second. There we go. I think we made it. Nice. Ooh, that was close. If you guys aren't familiar, I have one of those, or if you guys don't have one like it, I have one of those laptops where it will immediately die. Oh no, might have woken her up. All right, well, let's see. Oh, I love that. Hi, Stevie. Yeah, she's in the background. Hopefully she won't make too much noise. But that little bang of the charger dropping down definitely might have woken her up. So earnings this week, let's keep trucking forward. Monday, July 22nd, we got Verizon and NXP Semiconductors, whose ticker is NXPI. On Tuesday, we've got Google, right? GOOG and GOOGL, their parent company, Alphabet reports. We've also got Tesla on Tuesday, Visa, Coca-Cola, Texas Instruments, Philip Morris, United Parcel Service, which is UPS, Lockheed Martin, General Motors, and Comcast. Then Wednesday, we've got IBM, International Business Machines, AT&T, Chipotle, Mexican Grill, General Dynamics, and Ford. Thursday, we've got AbbVie, ticker ABBV, Northrop Grumman, NOC, Union Pacific, and AstraZeneca. And then Bristol Myers Squibb, BMY, Colgate, Palmolive, and Charter Communications on Friday. So, not too packed of a week, but still some very well-known names and names that have seen, a lot of kind of positive fundamental forces flowing their way, like these different defense tickers, Lockheed, General Dynamics, these semiconductor companies, Texas Instruments, NXP Semiconductors. So semis have definitely been taking a load off this past week and a half. It's something that I'm happy to have not had to participate in, right? As we were in the right position for how money was recirculating itself through the market. And while semis were selling, we weren't in them, which is nice. But we'll see if, earnings in some of these smaller names can maybe reinvigorate them and start to turn things around. Let's see what else we got. IPOs on watch. You guys know I'm not really a big fan of paying attention to any IPOs. In case you missed it, here are like some running themes here that might be of relevance this week, and were of relevance last week as well. The stock theme rotation in one chart. Microsoft says CrowdStrike defect affected 8.5 million Windows devices. CrowdStrike is down again, like another 5% pre-market, and that's why I didn't want to touch CrowdStrike last week, because we don't yet know what the ramifications are for CrowdStrike. Because you already had, I think Musk came out and said that Tesla won't be using CrowdStrike services anymore. So that's the thing. They can start just losing clients in droves. And it doesn't matter if they did drop to a significant technical point that serves as support, right? If they just start losing customers, they can fall through that support. So, again, we play in a game of probabilities where charts let you know probabilities, but they're not the be all end all. Right? The market doesn't owe us anything and the charts don't owe us anything. It's just a game of probabilities, and the improbable thing can happen. So it's important to make sure that you kind of manage the common sense aspect of things, but also the technical aspect of things, right? Is this an event that is isolated and won't have further ramifications, or is this something that can, and you need to make sure that has run its course before you start deferring to what the charts have to offer in terms of possible opportunity. Chips, talking about computer chips, lose 500 billion in market cap amid export control fears. Serve robotics skyrockets as Nvidia takes stake. Russell rotation, market cap swelling for small caps. Beautiful thing to be involved in it before that happens, right? Elliott Management takes sizable stake in Starbucks, another one that we were on top of before it happens. Elon Musk says CrowdStrike deleted from all our systems. So there it is. Yeah, confirming what I said a few seconds ago. And then Goldilocks scenario is taking shape. It's an article. We'll dive deeper into that right now because we're getting into our Monday specific news. So, new ticket, our top news, of course. Never had this happen before in life. So, again, give yourself some grace this week. Give markets some grace this week, because I've never experienced this, right? So there's you have no idea of what the market will behave like. Because if you haven't experienced it, you have no basis to say, oh, well, typically, there can be some selling and then kind of things stabilize as the market sets into it, right? This is something that might already be priced in because, it was, the writing was on the wall for a bit. He kept talking about how if I'm, physically unable to campaign, then I'm going to hand it off to Kamala and like da-da-da-da. And then, he got diagnosed with COVID, whether or not he has COVID or he just wants to fully withdraw and not make an excuse, like need a reason to come out. I don't know. But yeah, this is uncharted territory, right? So behave like it's uncharted territory. Let's see here. Following overwhelming pressure from senior Democrats, President Biden has abandoned his reelection bid in a hefty announcement that many saw coming. He has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the new party's presidential nominee, with a month to go before the DNC and only 100 days until the general election. State Democratic Party chairs have since thrown their weight behind her candidacy, though other prominent Democrats are calling for an open process to nominate a candidate, possible challengers, that's in parentheses, while others will likely wait until she picks a running mate. Timeline, things have only spiraled for Biden since halting performance at the June 27th, presidential debate. A rebound in subsequent press conferences and interviews never materialized, with blunders like mixing up the names of Harris and Trump, as well as Ukraine's Zelensky and Russia's Putin, and referring to the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin as the black man. I didn't even hear about that one, but geez. In contrast to Biden's incoherent sentences, his chief rival has been making headlines for his perseverance, especially after an assassination attempt during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, which led to iconic photographs of a bloody Trump holding up his fist in defiance. Stock futures opened mildly higher after Biden formally passed the torch to Harris, with no significant policy uncertainty seen as extending from the latest announcement. She is a staunch defender of Biden's economic approach, such as upgrading infrastructure Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, right? Those are two ways that I guess during his tenure he's upgraded infrastructure, and then subsidies for green projects like the Inflation Reduction Act and reshoring critical industries, the CHIPS and Science Act, and is also largely expected to stick to his foreign policy playbook. Harris's next interaction with the press will come today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time during an event on the South Lawn celebrating the NCAA championship teams. Now, what does it mean for markets? Quote, at the moment, not much. T.S. Lombard wrote in a fresh research note. Quote, polling before candidates start to run is notoriously wrong. DeSantis, I guess is a quote from DeSantis. Markets are priced for a Trump win and possible Republican sweep. Once the Dem prez and VP are chosen, running and impacting polls, will there be a market reaction? Polls now undercount Dems. On economic policy, each side reflects a Jacksonian rather than Hamiltonian tilt. Yield curves do not have to wait for the Fed to turn steeply positive. So at the moment, this is a way of saying a bunch of people saying we don't know exactly what to expect. I've been saying this, and I do agree that at this point, markets are pretty much priced for a Trump win and a possible Republican sweep. Maybe not the Republican sweep, but at least, a Trump win. So still, if you're on a certain side of things, obviously root for who you root for and all that. It's just I'm the type where I'm going to prepare for anything and everything. Right. And when it comes to positions, things that definitely stand to benefit are oil. Right. Trump has already said that, if he gets elected again, that he is kind of taking, for better or for worse, because there are definite environmental ramifications for this. But he's taken all the reservations off when it comes to drilling for oil. He's like, look, drill. We want as much oil as possible. We've got a ton of it, and we're not, using as much of it. So that's good news for all of these different energy companies, right? If he gets elected, because they have the opportunity to leverage so much more oil, which only gives them more bargaining power. And the U.S. is the world's largest oil producer. We just also use a ton of it. So, it's one of those things where there will be different ramifications for different administrations. And right now it seems like the market is pricing in, the orange guy getting back in the White House. So we'll see what happens. Either way, we resolve to make sure that we're okay. And that's the biggest thing. I saw a quote that said, like, Trump was president and you were struggling. Biden was president and you were struggling. Bush was president, you were struggling. Obama was president, you were struggling. The president does not liberate you from struggle. And that's very true. Right. So a lot of people are spending a lot of time typing a lot of things about presidential candidates, and neither one is really going to move the needle for them when it comes to closing the gap between where they are and where they want to be. So yes, vote. Yes, educate yourself about the candidates, but make sure you're spending the majority of your time right toward you and getting one better, and not just kind of feeding into CNN and Fox and getting caught up in that fervor. Because again, I don't know about you guys, but there was none of the presidents came in and was like, hey, I'm going to completely change your life. It's overall really just what you do for yourself. So make sure, right, that you're doing that, because people can get caught up and suddenly you lose your whole year caught up in politics and the rigmarole. And we're not politicians, right? So I'll leave it to them, but I'm securing the bags. We got plenty of stuff that's breaking out, and I want to be a part of it. Global news, rate cut. The People's Bank of China has become the latest central bank to cut interest rates. China, man, I don't know what the plan is here. A move aimed at strengthening counter-cyclical adjustments to better support the real economy. China's economy has been struggling as of late, with the most recent GDP reading missing estimates. In June, retail sales rising at the slowest pace since December 2022. China has been struggling and is just continuing to struggle, really. Over the weekend, the country also unveiled plans to boost finances of indebted local governments by shifting more tax revenue from central coffers following the ruling Communist Party's third plenum. So you're just seeing this, increasing trend of banks cutting rates all over the world. Usually, some countries wait for the US to cut. China isn't dependent or, really factors in what we do, but other countries such as our allies do, but even they're already starting to cut. So it's a good sign, right, for us and for our future. And also the data that we've been getting recently, as well as the policy talk we've been getting from Powell, has been a lot more dovish. So as of right now, people are expecting one for sure cut and maybe even two. we'll see what we end up getting here. Crypto news marks the spot is the name of this, the headline of this excerpt. Spot Ethereum ETFs are expected to begin trading tomorrow, but crypto traders appear to be underestimating the full impact of the highly anticipated launch. Ether has risen some 49% this year amid a wider crypto rally, but its performance has been poor relative to its peers, according to Seeking Alpha analyst Richard Durant. While the SEC approved key requirements from prospective spot ETF issuers such as BlackRock, ticker BLK, and Van Eck, their S1 filings are yet to be greenlit. If approved, crypto experts see Ether rising over 25% and ETF inflows crossing 20 billion in the initial months. So ETH getting some love here as the ETH ETF approval looms. Global news, Mideast watch. Middle East tensions are continuing to escalate after Israel carried out airstrikes on a major Houthi-controlled port on Saturday in retaliation to the group's drone strike near the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv. Israel warplanes hit the port city, I don't know how to pronounce any of these, so I'm just going to give my best. Hodeida in Yemen, which Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu said was used as an entry point for weapons supplied by Iran. The Houthis vowed to retaliate while the U.S. reaffirmed its ironclad commitment to Israel's right to self-defense. The latest attacks may also complicate an Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal that had been in the works and will likely compound ongoing shipping disruptions in the Red Sea, right? What does that serve to do? It serves to kind of make inflation even more stubborn, right? Because we can do all that we want here to try and decrease and dampen demand. But at the end of the day, if it costs more to get our goods here because those goods have to travel completely around the world and like twice to 3 times longer of a route than go through the Red Sea, that's going to factor into things when it comes to the price of goods, right? That the Fed and Powell can't do anything about. In terms of today's markets, mostly green. In Asia, Japan down 1.2%, Hong Kong up 1.3%, China down 0.6%, India down 0.1%. In London, the FTSE up 0.7%, Paris up 1.4%, Frankfurt up 1.4%, the Dow up 0.2%, S&P up 0.2%, 0.5%, NASDAQ up 0.9%. So tech, maybe can see some type of signs of life after just getting beat down last week. And we also had we've got a lot of events going on right now. Right, a lot of events. We had this global outage. I don't think we've ever had anything like that before, right? So we've had 2 events over the span of 5 days that I never had, at least in our lifetime, which is crazy, like absolutely crazy to think about. So give that the respect it deserves. Just give it, just understand kind of what, because we can kind of make this seem normal, and it's just not. Right? It's not. So understand what we have going on. Don't make that necessarily make you fearful to execute, but you just want to have it temper expectations, right? Because everybody, you just get boom. Oh, I got this money, send it out. Next trade, 3x, 5x, 10x, right? Woosah, bring it in. Recognize there's crazy stuff going on. Don't send your money out there into the furnace, right? Don't send it out there into the furnace. That's the biggest kind of heads up I can give anybody. Crude down 0.4%, gold up 0.4%, Bitcoin up 0.9 to 67,448. Nothing on today's economic calendar. So what else is happening? We got our rapid fire stock news rundown that we'll close out with. Broad economic / societal impacts from CrowdStrike outage. So they just go over all the different impacts. And there were tons. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the flight map from all the flights that were in the air over the US at the time. And then when the outage happened, like literally thousands and thousands of planes just like disappearing because they all just had to emergency land. So it was wild, right? This is something that cost billions of dollars. It wasn't just a casual, like, oh, my laptop won't work. Like billions of dollars this cost different companies. So that's why, again, with Crowd, I'm like, fell to support area. Am I buying it here? Probably not, because they don't just say, oh, LOL, it's okay. It's okay, Crowd, right? No, they're like, you cost us billions. We're over it. Right. Seeking Alpha asks which chip makers could weather an attack on Taiwan. U.S. right. That is probably a good article to check out. Very interesting. U.S. ranks next to last for development of new critical mineral mines. Unions representing Disneyland workers vote to authorize strike. Trump's vow to drill, baby, drill. It may be more complicated for oil. Activist Elliott Management takes sizable stake in Starbucks. Yeah, when it comes to like drilling too, it's tough, the dynamics, because you have access to more oil, which drives the prices down, but also like these oil companies just have more opportunity to create more oil and have more of a controlling stake of just the global power dynamics when it comes to energy. Also, this is great because we know that it takes a ton of energy in order to fuel this AI boom, right? FTC reportedly probing oil executives for signs of collusion with OPEC. Boeing COO expects 737 production to ramp up in H2 of 2024. And then Nippon, Nippon Steel hires ex-Secretary of State Pompeo to lobby for U.S. steel deal. So that's it. That'll wrap us up. Take us out for this week. Let me see here. I have no idea what is going on here, but see in the comments. Yeah, if you want to reach out to me, via DMs, and we can talk. But yeah, for right now, for this pre-market session, we're done, and we've got a great start to the week, right? So make sure again that you are staying true to the system, stay true to the mindset, all of that, execute when necessary. I'm excited that we got through this. This is a promising sign. She's back there asleep, snug as a bug, looking so cute. So, she will hopefully continue to behave well for us, and we can just make this, a nice regular thing. And maybe I'll even pop her in here, if the nap schedule permits. But yeah, Mr. Jonathan Ortega, if you want to reach out, let's see what we got going on here. Otherwise, let's keep this all about stock-related things here this morning as we try and get 1% better daily and continue to do so. Kaizen, baby. Eat, sleep, Kaizen, repeat. Let's make it a great week. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one.